Have you ever walked into a dance class, a space, or a cypher and felt like, ooh, you didn't belong? Like everyone had some secret code and you missed the memo? Well, you're not alone. And today, we're talking about something that affects every dancer, whether you're just starting or have been in the game, and that's safe spaces in the dance community. What they are, why they matter, and what we can do to create more of them. And what I'm referring to is safe spaces in movement and safe spaces energetically that you can feel in the room. Hey everyone, if you're new here, my name is B-Girl Mel and I teach hip hop dance online. I'm also a dance coach and community builder, and I help adults reconnect with movement, joy, and confidence, especially those who didn't grow up in studios or those who feel like they're just too late to start. In my 28 years of being a dancer, I've been in so many different dance spaces, events, classes, battles, jams, workshops, underground spots, corporate gigs. And let me tell you, the energy of a space makes or breaks your experience. So let's talk about it. But before we get into discussing what a safe space is, if you want my free 5-minute dance confidence guide, comment the word confidence and I'll send that right to you. All right, so what is a safe space? When I say safe space, I'm not just talking about safety in a physical sense, although that's part of it. A safe space is one where people feel welcome, respected, seen, and not judged for where they are in their dance journey. In dance, this means being allowed to mess up, being encouraged to ask questions, not being ashamed for not knowing a move, feeling like your identity, your age, your race, your gender, your body type, background isn't a barrier to being there. So for me, I remember my first time hosting Ladies First Jam. It's an event here in San Diego that amplifies female identifying movers, where the cyphers were full, lots of energy, both men and women participating, yet the women were the ones being celebrated and shined. That experience taught me that safe spaces don't just happen, they're established and they're built. And because of this experience, more and more individuals came through to future Ladies First Jams because they trusted how safe this space was. So why do safe spaces matter? Let's break this down. And why does this even matter in a dance context? Well, because dance is vulnerable. You're literally putting your body and your soul on display for all eyes to see. Adult beginners especially carry a ton of fear and inner criticism due to upbringings that just didn't promote safety and nurturing in their own life. And unfortunately, many people quit dance altogether because they just didn't feel safe. We talk a lot about growth mindset and pushing through fear, but those things only thrive in environments that support growth and make you feel safe. You can't grow roots in soil that doesn't nourish you. So if our spaces are filled with ego, gatekeeping, or shame, we just lose dancers. We lose stories and we lose community. And another thing, it's also important to acknowledge the importance of upholding violence prevention in dance spaces. Far too many years, both women and men have experienced some type of verbal, physical, sexual, or emotional violence that prevented them from feeling safe in their community. I mean, this topic goes pretty deep, and I'll dive deeper into this topic in a video in the near future. But for now, I'll just be scratching the surface. So how do we create safe spaces? Now here's the good part. Safe spaces aren't a mystery. They're intentional and publicly communicated and consistently acknowledged. Here are a few ways that you can create them, whether you're a teacher, a student, a host, or a dancer at a jam. Number one, lead with curiosity, not judgment. If you're someone who teaches classes or leads dance spaces, encourage questions, normalize mistakes. Ask, ooh, what helped you learn this? Instead of, you didn't know that? What I love to do is encourage all students to share their intention before we start session, and then close session with sharing a reflection on how they're a better dancer after our time together. Reflections don't have to be like profound answers. They can be as simple as, yeah, I had so much fun today, or I felt free, or I became more aware of body awareness today. And normalizing these types of discussions amongst other peers in dance spaces creates a sense of community and acceptance. Number two, call people in, not out. If someone makes a mistake or misstep, artistically, culturally, or socially, educate them with compassion, not shame. It doesn't have to be addressed like they did anything wrong, but just inviting a new awareness into the room. Not everyone who shares spaces with you knows what you know. We all come from different backgrounds and upbringings. And even the idea of common sense, I learned late in my 30s that everyone's definition of common sense is different. Common sense is not common sense. So addressing things that are important and that will continue to create safety and freedom of expression in movement should always be addressed accordingly. Number 3, celebrate all levels loudly, not just the cleanest dancers or the flashiest dancers. Give props for effort, for growth, for heart, and unique expression. I know there's this expression in the dance scene where they say, don't give easy props. And yeah, I do understand what that means. So for context, the no easy props statement was made because it was important to earn respect based on your skill. So back then, for example, just because you did a 6-step into a back bridge in a cypher doesn't mean you get all the props like, oh shoot! That was, in their eyes, meant easy. And I hear that way of thinking, I totally get it. But in the last 20 to 30 years, so much has evolved with the type of people who've been participating, the personalities and the communities that we encounter, and acknowledging why people stay and why people leave. And especially with the rise of adults who are just starting this dance, and with lots of healing that's about to be in their horizon, all it takes is encouragement and someone to believe in their 6-step to back bridge that will allow them to build confidence and eventually believe in themselves. Even celebrating people for having the courage to be there or step in the cypher should be celebrated. Not all spaces are meant to do every single type of thing like this, but there are spaces where this can be a practice, like community sessions or local jams. It doesn't have to be every single event. Read the room and you know when to do this. Number 4, model vulnerability. As a leader, I try to show my mess ups too, my fears, my learning curves. That tells others you're safe to show up honestly here. And for as long as I can remember, I position myself as always a student. That BA and MA degree in dance that I earned doesn't mean anything if I don't show compassion and connection to the people I share space with. And something that I noticed that helped my students grow is them seeing me navigate as a learner in the breaking scene. A lot of teachers who are just starting off in their career think they need to have it all together or be the best in their spaces, because if they're not, it discredits them. But this is far from the truth. I actually find it to be the exact opposite. So as teachers, we're encouraging our students to train, right? And be in spaces that are new and allow them to grow and make mistakes safely. So why can't we do that for ourselves? So, safe spaces aren't about perfection, they're about possibility. They're the reason someone comes back to class next week. They're the reason someone comes back to your event. They're the reason someone finally steps into the cypher. They're the reason someone says, wow, maybe I can do this too. And honestly, that's the kind of community I want to be a part of. That's the kind of community I want to help build. Let me know in the comments, what's one thing you think makes a space feel safer for adult dancers? And if you're someone who wants to grow in a safe space like this, especially as an adult or a beginner, check out the Confident Dancers program. It's built on everything we talked about today. Safe, supportive, and made just for you. Click on the link in the description box below and let's get started on a consultation call. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. We drop videos just like this every Tuesday. All right, see you next week. Love you.